In a move that would make any conspiracy theorist's heart flutter, nearly 200 names previously hidden under the cloak of redactions in a lawsuit against Epstein's former lover and accomplice, Ghislaine Maxwell, has been spilled into the public domain by a federal judge in New York. The grand unveiling includes names like former President Bill Clinton, former President Donald Trump, and other high-profile figures like Prince Andrew, Michael Jackson, Stephen Hawking, David Copperfield, and billionaire Glenn Dubin. This big reveal isn't just a who's who of the rich and famous. It's a jigsaw puzzle where the pieces don't quite fit, hinting at a larger, murkier picture. Many of the names mentioned didn't necessarily do anything wrong, or at least the documents don't necessarily suggest that they did. These documents stem from a lawsuit brought by Virginia Jeffrey, an Epstein accuser, against Maxwell. Jeffrey's allegations are no light read. Virginia claims Epstein trafficked her into his private island before her 18th birthday. Meanwhile, Maxwell is already serving time for her role in the dark saga. But why now? The release aligns with a glowing clamor in Congress, particularly among Tennessee Republicans, to air out the dirty laundry of Epstein's clients and jet setters. It seems there are those in power determined to keep these names under wraps, but the persistence to bring them to light is equally strong. What's clear is that there's more to this story than meets the eye. The unsealed names, the allegations, the connections, they all point to an iceberg of which we're only seeing the tip. In this introduction, we're just scratching the surface of the Epstein enigma, setting the stage for a deep dive into the history, the names, the reactions, and the lingering questions that these documents evoke. Today, we're going to dive deep into the Jeffrey Epstein story and the recent documents released by the courts. Let's dive in. Our story begins in 1953, when a guy named Jeffrey Epstein was born. He wasn't born rich, and what is written about him is usually that him and his brother grew up as part of a regular Jewish family. Jeffrey started off as a math teacher and later on eventually schmoozed his way into the finance world, working at the investment bank Bear Stearns. And then in 1982, he started his own firm, J. Epstein & Co., despite not being a registered investment professional. Epstein set up his business in the Virgin Islands, pointing to tax advantages for his investors. He cleverly worked with only VIP clients, stating he would only take on clients with a net asset value north of $1 billion. But then things took a bad turn. In 2005, he got into trouble in Palm Beach, Florida, where he was accused of paying a 14-year-old girl for sex. And as it turns out, there were many other girls with similar stories. In 2008, Epstein managed to get a deal where he only had to admit to doing this to one girl. He then spent 13 months in a special kind of jail program. Then there was a period where we didn't hear much from Epstein. But by 2018, the Miami Herald published a series of articles re-examining the plea deal and Epstein's crimes, bringing renewed attention to the case. Next thing we know, New York prosecutors charge Epstein with trafficking girls. By August of 2019, Epstein took his own life in a jail cell, leading to the suspicions of how it happened and who he might have taken down with him had he faced trial. So when Epstein died in 2019, many thought that he'd bury his secrets with him. But last year, a New York judge ordered hundreds of court records associated with Epstein to be unsealed. And while much of what's in them has been known before, they do contain some new details that were not previously known to the public. The first set of documents, which are over 940 pages, were part of a lawsuit filed against Ghislaine Maxwell, of course the ex-girlfriend and longtime associate of Epstein, in 2015, by one of Epstein's victims, Virginia Jeffrey. Now, what's really caught buzz are the depositions of two women, Johanna Sjoberg and the previously mentioned Virginia Jeffrey. Let's start off with the revelations in Sjoberg's deposition. At first, her work mostly involved just answering phones and taking messages for Maxwell, but it later on evolved after she met Emmy Taylor and learned the art of massage. Now, these so-called massages is a term often used in the documents that leads young girls into providing sexual acts for Epstein and his associates. So just to shed some light on how much Epstein loved massages, here are some police reports stating that he was receiving nude massages while pleasuring himself and playing with vibrators. He would then pay $200 to his masseuse for the erotic massage and $200 to whoever brought the masseuse to him, and then he'd pay an additional $350 if he wanted to have actual sexual intercourse. And when authorities searched Epstein's Palm Beach, where he would often get these massages, they discovered massage tables with photos of nude women, adult sex toys called twin torpedoes, and soaps shaped like male and female genitals. So let's go back to Sjoberg. Some of the key details she highlighted is her account of Prince Andrew groping her when she was 16 to 17 years old, all while she sat on his lap and he did some weird kind of puppet sexual assault thing. Sjoberg also claimed that David Copperfield asked her if she's aware that girls were getting paid to look for other girls. She also said that she met Michael Jackson at the Palm Beach house, and she also said that Epstein asked her if she would one day bear his child. Sjoberg also claimed that Bill Clinton was a friend of Epstein and that he's into young girls. Speaking of Clinton, there was also a claim in an email where someone suggested that Bill stormed into the office of Vanity Fair to shut down their mentioning of the Epstein stuff. Now, let's get into Joffrey's testimony. Virginia was approximately 15 to 16 years old when she first met Maxwell while working at Mar-a-Lago for Mr. Trump. Virginia admitted that she had given massages to hedge fund manager Glenn Dubin, Prince Andrew, and former Governor Bill Richardson. Another person in Epstein's inner circle of friends is the late Jean-Luc Brunel. He was one of the many names that Virginia accused of sexual abuse. Brunel was said in the lawsuit to have been scouting girls from other countries as young as 12 to work as models, only to farm them out to his pedophile friends. So quickly, I want to go over some of the funny reactions online. Bobby Lee had some fun with the idea of Stephen Hawking on Epstein Island.
I want to go to the island. Why won't you let me go? Let me go.
Jimmy Kimmel has threatened to sue Aaron Rodgers for suggesting his name will be mentioned in the Epstein documents.
Put it on the screen. And then bring up 57 and 56.
This has something to do with the Epstein list that came out?
Feels like
That's supposed to be coming out soon.
Look, this guy's been waiting in his wine cellar.
Yeah.
I've been waiting in my wine cellar for this thing.
And this heckler really wanted to let Bill Clinton know what the problem is.
Here's the problem. And Bill Clinton is a rapist. Infowars.com. Don't be like that. Give him a hand.
With more documents expected to be unsealed in the near future, we can expect these documents to reveal more information about the people associated with Epstein, including those who worked for him, flew on his planes, or visited his homes. As well as we're probably going to learn more about the alleged victims and witnesses. A significant revelation yet to be disclosed involves a claim about Miss Virginia Joffrey meeting a former president on Epstein's private island. The content of these documents, should they be released, could have far-reaching implications, potentially implicating more individuals in Epstein's crimes and shedding light on his criminal network. So let's wrap it up. Firstly, there seems to be a group of people who feel Donald Trump was exonerated by the files being released. I think that's just plain ridiculous. Just because there wasn't any evidence in this particular package, it doesn't really mean anything. We still have a past accuser named Katie Johnson who famously said that Trump and Epstein sexually assaulted her, all while Trump told Katie that she looked like his daughter. Also, if you feel Trump is exonerated, how do we explain all the photos that exist of him hanging out with Epstein? There's definitely something there, but we quite frankly like to know more. Ditto for Bill Clinton. His connections clearly run deep, but nothing really came of this document dump to tell us that Bill Clinton was guilty either. There was one single quote where Epstein says Bill likes him young, and outside of that, there isn't really any damning evidence on Bill. But just like in Trump's case, there's certainly smoke surrounding what looks like a fire. Now, if Stephen Hawking was going to be blackmailed, which a single email in these documents points to, what would that have looked like? How can you blackmail a person who physically can't assault anyone? Was the Epstein-Hawking email just a plant that would later be used in court releases like this one? It's definitely the strangest part of the story, and one I can't really wrap my head around. Again, myself and our staff pored over these documents for hours, and sadly, there just really wasn't anything all that exciting there. But it's said that there's going to be more documents to come. We've already seen 2 releases at the time of filming, and I fully plan to go back and examine these with my team to let you guys know what's out there. So although these releases so far have proved to be a nothing burger, hang on, because I don't think that the ride's over yet. And we're going to continue to give you guys the thoughts and analysis from us reading these documents as they come out. All right, everybody, thank you for watching. If you could do me a big favor, please hit that like button, subscribe, and ring that notification bell. Let me know what you think in the comment section. So guys, we just recently launched this channel and we noticed that 99.9% of our viewers are not subscribed. So if you enjoyed this video, we need your help in growing this channel. By subscribing, that would help us keep the lights on and make sure that our crews have jobs in these uncertain times. So please hit that subscribe button, and we promise to make more quality videos that I'm sure you're going to love.